Hey guys, I'm coming at you from my hotel lobby in Atlanta. So please excuse any background noise you hear. So we're going to talk about this whole unit is about World War I. I'm going to talk to you about the beginnings of World War I. First, I have to talk to you about the Balkans being the powder keg of Europe. We've talked about that before, but I want to give a little background. I have a map open. Let's do share screen. Go over here. First, I have to apologize. I expected to be giving this lecture live in person in the classroom. I don't have my Wacom tablet with me, so I can't do the whiteboard thing. I can only talk to you and show you pictures. So here, most of you are over here in Kazakhstan. We're talking about here. This is the Balkans. We've got Serbia, Bosnia. Today it's called Bosnia and Herzegovina, but at the time it was Bosnia. All of this here, this is the Balkan Peninsula. But I want to go back a little bit. Okay, do you remember the Habsburgs? I talked to you about the Habsburg Empire. They lasted for 400 years. And I told you a funny story about them, showed you a picture with the Habsburg jaw. And I said, now you'll be able to get the jokes. Do you remember what that was? Why it was that people make jokes about the Habsburgs? I hope you remember that. Then the Habsburgs collapsed and up rose the Austrian Empire. But then here's Austria. Austria took control of a whole bunch of this area, causing lots of nationalistic pride. Who was it that caused nationalistic pride? Who was that? Please tell me you remember who that was. I'm not going to remind you. There's one particular name. Okay, so now we've got the Austrian Empire. Then Hungary got really, really angry, and there was going to be a war. So to prevent war, Austria says, okay, Hungary, we're going to split up power, and we're no longer going to be the Austrian Empire. We're going to be the Austria-Hungarian Empire. And now we've got the Austria-Hungarian Empire ruling this whole area. Well, all that did was infuriate the other Balkans even more. Why do the Hungarians get special treatment? They were so mad. Oh my God, they were mad. And that's not the only thing they were mad about. They were mad about a million things that I don't have time to get into, and you don't care about anyway because you're 16, so we don't have to talk about it. But they were really, 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 really mad about a whole lot of things. And everybody in the world was kind of focused on this region of the world right here, the Balkan Peninsula. And they were calling it a powder keg because just one tiny little flame could make the whole thing go and cause a war. Well, that one tiny little thing happened in June of 1914. So Austria-Hungary had, in 1908, Austria-Hungary had annexed Bosnia. This is Bosnia right here. You see Croatia and Serbia. I would have to zoom in closer for Bosnia to show up, but it's this country right here. So in 1908, Austria-Hungary had annexed. What does annex mean? Yes, I'm sure you remember what it means to annex a country, had annexed Bosnia. Well, that made Serbia really angry because Serbia wanted to be in control of Bosnia because Serbia, they're Slavs and the Bosnians are Slavs. And, you know, this is a time of great pan-Slavic nationalism. We've talked about pan-Slavism before, when all the Slavic people wanted to join together and make one great nation of Slavs. So Serbia wanted to control Bosnia, but Austro-Hungary just annexed it and said, we control them now. But there were a whole bunch of Serbs that lived inside Bosnia. So Serbians living inside Bosnia. But Austro-Hungary annexed Bosnia. Okay. I know I'm talking very quickly, and I don't have my pen to write notes. I'm really sorry about that. But the whole thing you really need to remember right now is Austro-Hungary has annexed Bosnia, and it has infuriated Serbia. There are lots of Serbians that live inside Bosnia. You know, just like there are Chinese people that live inside Kazakhstan. There are Russians that live in Kazakhstan. There are Kazakhs that live in Uzbekistan. There are Kazakhs that live in Ukraine. Well, there were Serbians living inside Bosnia, and those Serbians were especially angry that Austria-Hungary had annexed Bosnia. They were really, really mad. Okay, now we're going to go to 1914. So in 1914, I'm looking at my notes. The emperor of, where are we? I'm sorry, I'm looking at my notes. Yeah, okay. The emperor of the Austro-Hungarian Empire wanted someone to go to Bosnia to check out their military strength, the strength of the Austria-Hungarian military in Bosnia to make sure they were strong enough to keep the people in control. And his nephew, this is the emperor's nephew, Franz Ferdinand, says, I'll go. And a whole bunch of his advisors said, no, that's not a good idea. I don't think that's a good idea. You really shouldn't go. There's very strong nationalistic pride going on in Bosnia right now. There's a strong pan-Slavic movement happening right now. They really don't like us. I really think it's a very bad idea for you to go to Bosnia right now. Please don't go. Well, what did Franz Ferdinand do? He said, nah, I'm going to go. I'll be fine. And I'm going to take my wife with me. So Franz Ferdinand, the emperor of the Austria-Hungarian Empire's nephew, goes to Bosnia to check the state of their military strength. He goes, and not only does he go, he makes a really big deal of his presence. Everything's big. They publish the map of a parade he's going to go on. He and his wife ride through town in a topless car, like a convertible. They're riding through town in a convertible where a member of a Serbian pan-Slavic terrorist group called the Black Hand. His name is Princip, shoots and kills them both. 2 shots, both dead. Princip admits to killing Franz Ferdinand, but says that he did not mean to kill Sophie, Franz Ferdinand's wife. Everyone believes him. It was an accident. He did not mean to kill Sophie, but he did. He shot them both. So now Austria, the Austrian emperor, of course, is upset that his nephew has been assassinated. But he's not really, well, I mean, he's upset, but I don't know that this would have led to a world war. So how exactly did the assassination of the emperor's nephew in Bosnia by a Serbian terrorist group lead to a world war? Let me tell you. So, okay, let's pause for a minute. Just like I always tell you, it is best to think when we're talking about war and geopolitics, that's geographic politics, world politics. It is best to think of countries as just individual people. Instead of thinking about these as great nations, just think of it as I'm talking to you about classroom drama. He said this and she said that. They did this and they did this, because you can remember that. You can do all of that so easily, and yet people get confused about world wars and what country struck what country first. So just think of it as I'm talking to you about school drama. Okay, so Germany hated Russia for some old drama that we don't really have to get into, but Germany hated Russia. Germany was friends with Austria. Russia is friends with Serbia because Russia is Slavic and they've got that pan-Slavism thing going on. And Russia is the biggest country and they feel themselves as the protector. So if anything happens to the little baby Serbia, the little baby Slavic countries, they have to come to the rescue. Germany hates Russia. So Germany convinces Austria that this assassination is a horrible, 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 terrible, 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 bad, horrible thing. And they've got to do something about it. And so the emperor is like, oh, okay. And Germany even goes as far as to write Austria a blank check. That means, I know checks are old-fashioned, but a check is a way that you send money to someone. So Germany told Austria, we will give you all the money you need to pay to get to the bottom of this and to get revenge for this assassination. So, and Germany convinces Austria to get revenge, like make a list of demands for Serbia. You must turn over the person that assassinated Franz Ferdinand. You must investigate this terrorist organization, the Black Hand. You must do this. You must do this. You must do this. This whole list of things, or else we're going to declare war on you. And Germany knew that if Austria declared war on Serbia, that Russia would immediately come to the defense of Serbia and declare war on Austria. And then Germany could swoop in, come to the defense of Austria, and declare war on Russia. What? I can't believe that. It was all set up. I mean, it wasn't, I mean, there really was an assassination. There really was. An assassination is terrible. It's horrible. Someone was murdered. But should one murder of one person lead to global war? I don't know. Okay, so I'm going to talk through that one more quick time, just because I don't have any way to write it down. Germany hated Russia. Germany convinced Austria to give a list of demands to Serbia and told Serbia, if you don't do all these things, I'm going to declare war on you. Germany knew that if Austria declared war on Serbia, Russia would immediately come to the defense of their friends Serbia and declare war on Austria. And then Germany could immediately come to the defense of their friends Austria and declare war on Russia. And then Germany got their war against Russia. And then it did happen that way. Serbia agreed to some of Austria's demands, but not all of Austria's demands. And Germany provoked Austria into declaring war on Serbia. And it was 1 month after the assassination of Franz Ferdinand. I think I forgot to tell you that date, June 14th, 1914 was when Principe assassinated Franz Ferdinand. July 28th, 1914, Austria declares war on Serbia. Very, very soon after that, Russia declares war on Austria, and then Germany declares war on Russia. And pretty soon after that, everybody's friends get involved and everybody's fighting everybody. Just think of it as when you get into a fight with your friends and everybody picks sides. And pretty soon we had the Central Powers versus the Allies. Those are like the team names. Think of it as a soccer match, a football game. We had one side was the Central Powers versus the Allies. Yeah, Central Allies. And the Central Powers were Germany, Austria-Hungary, and Turkey. And the Allies were Russia, France, Great Britain, Italy, Japan. And towards the very, very end of the war, the United States jumped in. Okay, that's it. I hope you are all doing well. This is an asynchronous learning week, but if you just want to talk to me, feel free, send me a message in Teams, and I will happily set up a time to meet with you. And we'll just have to work with the time difference because there's 13 hours difference between where you are and where I am, but I'll make it work. And your homework is to take notes on this and submit them. Okay, bye guys. Wow, I can't figure out how to turn this off. Come on. End meeting.